Welcome to Phoenix Rise Connect, where businesses, creators, and powerful ideas come together.
We provide businesses with a platform to share their story, demonstrate their products, and connect with new audiences around the world. Through professional live interviews, engaging podcasts, and authentic conversations, we help brands build visibility, credibility, and trust.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we on this warm Sunday afternoon? We do get me up on a Sunday, Neil. Sunday afternoons, eh? We should all be like resting, not working. How are we? Are you there? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Are you talking to me? Sorry, I thought you were talking
I am
to
talking to you
for a second.
No, I was talking to. Well, do you know what? It might be because I got your name wrong. Do you want to tell us your name properly? Because if I get your name wrong anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I've met anyone that's ever said my name properly to date. So if everyone's watching, it's Naumaan.
Naumaan. Brilliant.
Yeah.
There you go. That's probably why you didn't think I was speaking to you. I was speaking to the audience. So Naumaan. Hello, buddy. Hello. Hiya. Welcome to Phoenix Connect and welcome to the Scenes Project. Hello, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch today. How are we all? It's gone so hot. I can't. I'll tell you what. I think I've got 2 fans on again. It went cold yesterday. Where is it where you are?
Me. So I'm in Watford, so just out of London. So I'm working from a loft, so it doesn't matter how cold it is. If it's above 20, I'm sweating all the time around the clock. So
it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. But anyway, we have got an exciting product for you, all you musicians out there today. We have got something called GigXchange. And I'm going to get this young man to tell us all about his business, but we're going to fire off with some questions for him because he isn't just a software engineer. He is also a musician himself. You as a guitarist back in the day. What made you change from the music industry into the software development?
So I love the guitar, and I never thought I was going to put it down, to be honest. So I played probably since I was about 13 to about 6 months ago, when I really started to get serious about some of this stuff. I realized I just don't have the time. But it happened because, so I was quite young when all these social media businesses started coming out, like Facebook and LinkedIn, all this stuff. And I remember having an idea once when I was young. I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if there's a software out there that you've got LinkedIn for, like work, for example, you need a job, you've got somewhere to go, somewhere to find opportunities. And there was nothing like that for music. So I had the thought, and I thought about it a few times over the years, but only very recently did it become possible for like a single developer to make something like that on their own. So I basically, and I didn't think about it straight away. So we all know about these agentic tools that are coming out, and I quite quickly saw the kind of potential in them, and I applied them in more of a. So I'm a procurement director by day, and I applied it to like the procurement world, and it doesn't matter like how exciting of a product you can make when you apply in a corporate environment. It's kind of boring. So I thought, why am I wasting all this time making like an enterprise software tool when I have this idea for a music tool that I wanted to do for years? So I started doing that in like February, and then that's when I put the guitar down, basically. Hopefully not forever.
Just tell us about your music career, when it kicked off and what type of gigs you were doing.
Yeah, so when I was young, it was all like original stuff. So in the early days, it's like the journey everyone else had. I picked up the guitar in school, and I had a few bands in school. We did like some of these Battle of the Bands competitions, stuff like that. And then as I got to like 18, maybe my early 20s, I had a few friends that started to become relatively successful locally. Back then, it was like 2010. So the local music scene was a lot more lively, like everywhere you went in the UK. I had a few friends that were starting to do that type of stuff. They were starting to put out like proper recordings and do music videos, things like this. So at that point, I had a band. We were called Blind Sight, and we'd done a bunch of original stuff. We went through a couple of singers. I think we did like two EPs at the time. We gigged quite a lot around the kind of home county circuit, and then career, at some point the career got in the way, and I did put the guitar down. But when COVID happened and we got all that personal time back, you know, no commuting, nothing like that. I basically went on this mad binge of practicing. I thought, you know, like you got this, you know, this 10,000 hours thing everyone talks about. I was like, what would it be like if I got 10,000 hours in like 2 or 3 years? So I used to practice like all day, every day. And coming out of COVID, I got into the bands to get opportunities.
You're still there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're just losing a bit because the signal seems to be going. So I'm just trying to work out the settings for you. I will give everyone just a couple of seconds. I'm just going to put some music and see if I can get this signal a bit stronger for everybody today. But we are literally hitting a bad patch on the signal, but it seems to be coming back now. So give me 2 seconds, everybody. I will get it back. Don't you worry. And we will be hanging on live to the interview in a minute. I'm just going to put some music on for everyone. And if I can keep my guest in the studio, let's see if we can get this a lot stronger for everybody and make sure we are not losing anybody. Right, that should have done it, everybody. Sorry about that technical glitch, everybody. It's a wonderful world of the internet. Sunday afternoon, that must mean that everybody's on their Xbox. Literally. We cut you off. Go for it.
No worries. Yeah, I think I was just saying that coming out of that COVID period and being in that covers band, I basically kind of had two very clear comparisons in my mind of what it was like to gig in like the early 2010s and what it was like to gig in like the kind of early 2020s. And it was so much harder, right? It was just like less pubs around, less venues around in general. I noticed immediately that there was no promoters around anymore. We used to have quite a lot of like local music promoters back in the 2010s. So if you didn't have a direct line into a venue, as long as you knew a couple of promoters, they would be happy to put you on a few times a month. So yeah, I think at that time I was like, actually now would be a good time for a software like this.
It is. It's getting harder for people to book gigs because there's a smaller amount of places to go to. But, but would software being in between, would people see it on the other side, you know, in terms of the venues and, you know, in terms of obviously the people wanting to try and get the gigs can see it, but it's obviously the businesses, do they see it as well?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of ways you can look at this. So yes, I think just connecting people has a value in itself. So if you think about it as like a network, and let's say that these days there's less nodes on the network, right? There's less venues. Maybe there's the same amount of artists, but there's less venues. So there's less overall participants in that network. Just having the ability to connect people means that, you know, there might be this venue over here that this band over here has never heard of or never thought to engage. But if you simplify the process for them to be able to get in touch, you kind of open up more conversations. So you can kind of widen your I guess your net as a musician, and then you can capture. There might be less opportunities out there, but because you can capture a wider scope of opportunities, the hope is that, you know, like it should seem the same as it was, you know, earlier in maybe the 2010s.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at this app with you then, just so
Yeah.
you can explain it a bit to everybody. I'm going to bring it on stage. There you go.
Cool. So this is the website. So yeah. So if you scroll up a bit,
walk us through it.
yeah. So this is the homepage. This is where you land. I've got a counter here. So basically, the value of any network is the amount of participants in that network, right? So I've made it very obvious to people that if you come and join the platform, it's early days, right? We're getting quite a lot of artists. You can see there's 5 AE up there, but on the venue side, venues is always going to be harder, right? You're never going to be at parity between venues and artists. But I'm trying to show people that, you know, if this is a live feed of everyone that's in the network, you can see what you're buying into, or you're not even buying it, it's free, right? But you can see what you're signing up to from day one. What I've tried to do as well is I've tried to make it, I want this to be like a front shop. So I don't want it just to be a software that people have to join to get any value. I want every artist and every venue to also be presented in a nice way up front. So you can see that there's a carousel there. This is all the new members that are joining. But if you, I don't know, like click through on one of those tiles on the carousel, we'll see where that takes you.
On these ones, yeah?
Yeah. So this is basically, think of this as like a LinkedIn profile page, right? So when you join inside the app, you set up a profile, but your profile is available on the website to anyone that's browsing. It serves a couple of purposes. One thing is it's kind of like a pretty shop front for you to present yourself however you want to be presented. But it also acts like another sort of SEO surface for you. So if someone's searching you in the local area, so we rank quite well in terms of SEO, something that I'm particularly strong in. So if someone is searching for Wildwood, for example, on Google, I'm hoping that over time people will come across this band or this artist profile, and not only will they, you know, like be, if you were to click on, see this heat strip of availability under the light blue tiles. So
yeah.
That's a live feed of that artist's availability from inside the app. So in the app, they kind of set, you know, when they're busy. And as a, let's say I'm a booker, right? I'm a venue. I come across this guy's profile on Google and I want to book him. I can see his availability, and if I click on one of the tiles,
I like that.
It should take you to like a CTA screen, right? So you can kind of set up the booking here a little bit, but if you were to put all the details in, click next, it would ask you to sign up as a venue, right? So it's kind of almost like a front gate into the app. But I made quite a lot of the process available outside of the app, just to in the early days to reduce the friction, because I want as many people joining this network as possible. So it shows you what's possible inside the app, but you will have to sign up to actually book Wildwood. And then I don't know if you've set up an account yet.
I haven't. No.
So, all right. So if we forget the app for a moment, I can show you some of the other stuff that's available within the app. So first of all, I'll take it from the venue owner perspective, or just not even venue owners. Let's say I'm a booker. I can be a corporate booker, or I can be a let's say I'm just a normal person. I've got a wedding coming up. I want to book a band for a wedding. Everybody has a profile on the website. So if you look at the ribbon at the top, you'll see profiles. You've just seen Wildwood's profile, but let's say I don't know who I want to book. So I come here, I click on all profiles, and I scroll down. So you can see everyone that's sort of joining the website. And then if you keep going, so there's a grid here of like 580 people, but if you keep going,
brilliant.
Either you're going to pick someone off of that grid, or you're going to look at this map. It should load in a second.
So is this just UK at the moment at GigXchange? This is predominantly UK only, yeah?
At the moment, just because there's so much nuance to this market, right? Like the UK market has its own challenges, and I'm not going to pretend that like I can expand into like France, for example, and understand all their specific challenges. So because I've gigged in the UK, I feel like I know the market a bit better, and it's all about in this type of a market where things are tough anyway. You need to give all sides of the marketplace what they want, right? Otherwise, you're
still going into Ireland. I'm quite impressed. You've got over to Ireland. So are these places you've gigged in Ireland, or people you know in Ireland?
There'll be people that have signed up to the platform, so you can join. So I'd say UK and Ireland, but predominantly the people that have signed up are in the UK. But let's say I'm a booker, and let's say I'm based in London. If you click through to the London circle there on the map.
Okay, so whereabouts are we? Because I'm down here in the sunny southwest here. 11 people there.
Yeah, you could try any one of them. Like I would go for one of the ones with a few more people. So.
Okay.
And then keep clicking through. So the map, it kind of gets a bit more granular as you go, but eventually it'll open up like a menu on the. Yeah, you see you've got the Browse London profiles up there on the top left. Keep going left a little bit. So it's just to make it easier for you to search, who's available in your local area, just to make it a bit easier to find people that you might want to book. But essentially, that's one part of like the shop front for GigXchange. And then let's see what else is on here. There's a free tool section that shows you some of the things that are actually available if you have an account within the app. So I try to think of all the things that would be useful, not just like for you to get gigs, but also like all the infrastructure that kind of supports that gig. So an example of that would be, I've got a stage plot kind of subnav item there. It's the third one down on the right hand side.
This one?
Just go right there. You go, stage plot. So most bands should be familiar with this. If you're a solo artist, you might not be as familiar, but a lot of venues, they like to receive a stage plot from you just to know how they should set up the venue before you arrive. So inside the app, one of the features that you have is you can create your own stage plot, and you can basically message it directly to the venue from inside the app. And if you click one of those examples there, it'll show you what it looks like. Go left. There's a couple of like
So go back again,
yeah, back one, and then can you see those two black-looking pages? Yeah, if you click one of those, it'll pull up an example of what you can design in the app. So essentially, this is something I drafted up, but it's basically like how a fictional band would set up the stage. And this is just like it in and of itself, it's just like one simple tool, right? But most artists won't have the ability to create one of these. They might make it on like ChatGPT or something, but this is like a purpose-built stage plot.
But I've been a DJ, and I'm sorry, this is phenomenal, because at the end of the day, the amount of times that I've been to a stage and I've been worried about where I'm going to put my equipment, or when I've got to the venue, they've told me that there's been enough space, and I end up seeing that there's the tiniest of pieces of rooms, and I've got so much equipment like ready to put out. And they haven't given me a floor plan. So a floor plan for this is amazing. I love this idea.
Yeah, so something like this, and like I say, it's one tool, but what I've tried to do within the platform is to create people. That's just a different like permutation. I've set up the band a little differently in that one, but if you click out this and just go back to the free tools, I'll just show you one more, just so people can get a flavor for all of the kind of small things that make up a wider platform. So if you go to let's go to invoice generator. And again, another basic one, but hopefully this will start to come together. I think it's the same thing. You'll probably have two example invoices on the left-hand side at the bottom there. Yeah, click on one of these, and then so you'll know as a musician, right? Like after you do a gig, you got to produce an invoice, and depends how savvy you are, how experienced to this you are. You might already have a template, but a lot of people don't have a template, and they don't really know what should go on an invoice. So this is something that we've created. It's like a white label invoice. You populate a few things in the platform, and if you've actually made the booking in the platform, most of this will generate for you by itself. You just check it and you click yes to send it to the venue. But you can use this also for other invoices that you may need to send to people outside of the venue. Like maybe you had a dep musician or something, or maybe you are a dep to a band and you want to send them an invoice for a gig that you stepped into. So it's basically a multi-purpose invoice tool, and you can use for that for many purposes. The venues will like to have something like this as well. So artists, I find, are a bit more cavalier in their approach to how they do business, but venues get audited, right? They'll expect things like this from every act that they put on. So it's just another tool that you can basically have in your arsenal when you're going about the gigging circuit.
Do you know what? I'm fascinated by this because, like, even as an artist manager,
Yeah,
thinking how much time it's going to save the people that I manage to, actually be able to do their own work, but feel that they can do it and they don't have to have someone do it for them. Because there's even things like EPK Builder. Now, I've been using EPK builders through AI to try and be able to make EPKs and get people up to date to make them look more professional.
yeah.
And doing an AI EPK, it is looking. Everybody's been going on about like this, like direction of AI.
Oh,
And how.
yeah.
I'm sorry, it has some that much of a difference. I'm actually seeing it even more professional than even the likes of Canva. I don't understand what people's thinking are because for me, as an artist, I want to give my information to someone, and the only really thing I'm thinking about is playing the gig. I'm not looking about what my poster looks like, but actually these do look professional.
Yeah, I feel like especially as an artist, there's a couple of things, right? Like some of these big businesses are not going to understand because if you develop software in any big business, you'll realize they have all kinds of bureaucracy that prevents them from creating a good product. But as an artist, and this EPK is not fully complete, so I apologize for that. But as an artist, you're always going to want everything to look good, right? So you're going to want customizability within your EPK. You're going to want to put your pictures where they want to be. You're going to want to present your rates in a certain way. You're going to want to have certain types of videos in a certain order. So I've tried to make it as pliable as possible. And this is just, I would say this is version 1 of the EPK. There's a lot more that I can do for this, but I essentially want people to have like a hosted environment where they can present any type of data that they would want a venue or an agent or like a record label to have in one place.
So when you share an EPK, does that go via an email address, or how does that, or does it go straight back to your software?
It should give you, so these EPKs are also public pages on the website. So it'll give you a bunch of, it'll pop up like a sharing modal where you have like different options. There might be click here to copy a link, or click here to send via WhatsApp, or click here to send via email, those types of things.
There's just so much on here for artists. So really, you've done such a good job. And what you have made it is, I've seen several of these and I've been presented with several of these. And one of the things that's put me off is visually what it's put me off, because it's felt like a software program and it's been quite boring to look at. And also, I haven't been able to see the link between artists and venues. But the fact that even on your homepage, straight away, you're giving me confidence that there's 50 people already signed up who are in the venue side. So as an artist, I'm going to think, do you know what? It's like GigPig. I know if I go on anything like that, they're going to have people who are already signed up in terms of the venues themselves. So the fact that I can see that there's 50 people straight away that are going to look at my site, look at possibly giving me a gig, it's going to give me full confidence to say, do you know what? Actually, this is the right software for me, because I can see it visually, and I'm a visual person. And, there's a lot of people out there. I work with a lot of neurodivergent musicians. And they need visual. They need visual. They don't need plain, boring, complicated software where you've got to go from A to B and it takes years to try and get to where you want to be, and you can't see the steps. And you can see the steps straight away. You can see where you are straight away, even the first few examples that you've given. So, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. And you're saying it's free. You must be making some money out of this. Come on, seriously. You're a business. You're an entrepreneur.
No, so luckily I have quite a good income situation. So I'm funding this entirely out of my pocket. First of all, software doesn't cost as much as people tell you it costs. So a lot of times when you're paying for software, you're paying for a cheap software product with an expensive bureaucracy surrounding it. So I've done everything from day one to build this as lean as possible. Now, it is costing me something, right? It's not free. Like it costs me probably a large part of my pay packet every month, but I can't see how I've earned the right to charge anyone until this network is sufficiently big enough that, like, my goal is that if an artist joins this thing, before I charge them anything, I want them to be sure that they're going to be able to book gigs through this platform, right? So let's say they can book a couple of gigs a month, and you have like an average. A solo artist probably earns like £250 per gig on average in the UK. So let's say they can book like £500 worth of business a month reliably on my platform. That's kind of when I'm thinking is a fair time to like charge. And even when I do charge, I'm thinking about the pricing strategy. It's not going to be expensive. I think.
I'm still with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just talking about the pricing strategy. So, I'm going to need to charge one day, but I'm thinking in the range of like £5 a month. It's not going to be something that's going to be punitively high for people. And the reason is I'm going to try and run this as a one-man business for as long as possible. It's really the labor cost and the inefficiency that you pay for when you buy any software. It's not really the software itself.
Right. We're still having technical issues here over here in Torquay. I don't know what it is all about, whether it is because of the fact that we've got on a Sunday. But apologies for anybody who can hear my voice but can't see my pretty face. So what I'm going to keep doing is our guest can still hear me, which is absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, this is all about his business and also about him as an artist as well. So, at the end of the day, we're bringing you a great product, and the fact that it's free, which is phenomenal, and kind of you to give this to artists for free. We've got some people who have signed in. Samantha, welcome to Phoenix Connect. How are you, Samantha? Now, Samantha is a radio DJ, okay, and she basically promotes our Scene Projects Radio, working with artists all the time. Perhaps you'd be a great person to be able to get your service out. And have you got like a bit of a riff that you could do about your new product? With your guitar, we could get it out on radio for you.
I was thinking about doing like some type of parody song that almost kind of walks you through the product itself. And
I think a parody song would be good.
Yeah, I was thinking something Britpop because we're focused on the UK market, and a lot of the stuff that I play in pubs and the stuff that went down was all the Britpop stuff. So I've been thinking about it. I haven't really got around to it yet just because there's so much else going on. But if you leave it with me, I don't think it'll be too hard to create something.
Do you know what? This day and age, there's no time to think anymore. You just got to do. Especially, that's the reason why we done Phoenix Connect. It was basically a way in which we can help you as businesses to think about how you can brand yourself in a way that, I'm sorry, you would sell this to America. If they had this available to them in America, they would buy it. This is what they've been looking for. Also, the way in which they can literally go onto a website, know that there's venues out there, and basically be able to book their gigs. That is what they've been asking for in the US as well. Okay, and I work heavily with the US market. And the fact that you're starting this in Britain, I do think this is a software product that you can go globally with. And I know that's a hard thing to think of now, but I think you can go globally with it. And it's brilliant. It really is.
Yeah, I think music's ubiquitous, isn't it? And out of all the markets, like I'd love to build a software product for the US just solely for the purpose that it's such a big open market and everyone's willing to work with you. So yeah, working in the UK, it's going to be tough, right? It's like UK people, the economy is not as good, and people are a bit more skeptical. But if I'm able to roll this out to the US, I think, given it's a bigger country as well, and you have more land to cover, a network is kind of exponentially more valuable in a bigger country. Because let's say I'm an artist and let's say I'm from New York, but I want to do a tour in California. If I can book everything before I leave through a platform, it basically puts that tour on the table versus off the table.
Right.
I'm wondering if I could. I don't know. I think you've got some questions for me, but I could present. So I can log into the app on my side, and I could show you through some of the ways where it's different to some of the competitors.
I'll tell you what, you do that. While you're doing that, I am going to log into my own phone network because it'd probably be better than everybody else, like stealing the normal network. So if you can demonstrate to everybody a bit on your side, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Now give me some time just to be able to try and get back to you all.
All right, let me see if I can drive. One moment. Right, so I'm hoping you can see the kind of the app. I've got a widescreen here, and there's a lot of other things on the page, but hopefully you can just see the dashboard for the app itself. So first things first, when you log in, it's just a bit of a personal message from me, kind of thanking everyone for signing up, talking about how many people we've now got on the platform, and there's also a referral code here just to incentivize other people to grow their network for us. First things first, it looks kind of corporate when you join up, and that's because any software needs a dashboard, right? So you log in, you need to immediately be able to see the things that are important. So I'm an admin, so I don't have any bookings, but it shows you things on your total bookings, how many gigs are coming up, how much money you're pending to be paid for, total earnings today on the platform. There's a few other things here, and then social media-esque features as well. So you have a list of people that you're following. The way that I envisage this is, as an artist, you probably want to follow a bunch of agents and a bunch of venues just so you can keep tabs on them as the network grows. So I'm hoping that one day we have thousands of venues on here, and you don't want your favorite venues to kind of get lost in the noise. So that's the reason you got a following list here. Similarly, you got your followers. The value in this, I guess, is a bit more just to show the venues like how many followers you do have. So before they take a bet on you, and it is increasingly being perceived as a bet. So a lot of venues have been telling me that live music is a bit of a risk for them to book, just because they have like a commitment on in payment to the artist, and they don't know if they can recoup that money in like ticket sales or in like drink sales. So at some point in time, I'd like our artists to be able to showcase like a really big following to all the venues on the platform, and then without having to go into too much detail, I'll just show you some of the bit more interesting features and what sets us apart from the competition. So a lot of these booking platforms are actually, they're like one-sided job boards where like a venue will issue a gig and people will apply for that gig. It's kind of like Uber, but in reverse. So if you imagine Uber, if you imagine that I'm a Uber driver and I'm sending out rides to the network, and people in the network then pick if they want to take my ride or not, it kind of doesn't make sense. It's almost back to front. So what I've created here is it's like a way for you to, if you're an artist, a way for you to search venues. So you come in, there's an explore page, there's a bunch of people that recently joined. You would click venues, you kind of drop into here, and you'd see like the different venues that are on the platform. A lot of them haven't filled their profiles in yet. That's something that I need to basically work with the venues to create. But let's say we look at the Attic Bar. This is a bar in Bristol. They signed up the other day. Similarly to you guys, they all have their availability posted within the app, and it goes forward for a year. You would pick the date that you want to engage the venue. You'd click through here. You decide some of the titles, right? So you might say, Naumaan Zahid debut gig in Bristol, something like that. You'd pick a date, time, and then you have an option of, this is actually another thing that's quite interesting, is you set your own fee. The venue can always turn it down and say, look, you're too expensive, but at least it gives you a chance to kind of set the benchmark. So let's say I want to play for £500 and then I want to do a 2-hour set. I then basically decide, do I want that payment to go through GigXchange, or do I want to settle the traditional way that a lot of people do in this industry, and that's privately? So if you go privately, you're going to expect that the venue is going to pay you on the night or following the night. It's a little bit more risky, but it is the way the industry works. So if you're comfortable with that, you either go that way, or you basically hook up an automated payment. So once the contract is signed, which is a subsequent step of the booking process, the platform will take care of all the payment. Now, I won't book the gig because it will go straight through to the Full Moon and Attic Bar, but you can kind of get an idea of how it works. There's a few other things as well. So as an artist, you might want to know a bit more about the venue. So venues will put a bit of a blurb up on their, basically about their story. There'll be a few details that are important, like name, capacity, whether they provide a backline or not, a map to the location, a few other things about getting here and access, like what's the situation with like load in or step free access, those types of things, music curfew. Similarly to the artist profile, I've given the venues an opportunity to present their kind of best foot forwards in terms of their imagery. Just think of this as like LinkedIn, but for the music business. So that is like an easy way for you to scan through the venues on the platform and book. Adrian, you back?
It's good to see the venues as well, because I know when I've been to a venue, it's just like they tell you what it's looked like, and it obviously isn't.
Yeah, I always used to find it interesting because you never know what a pub's going to look like or a venue's going to look like till you get there. Sometimes they got great names and great reputations, but you get there and it doesn't quite match what you'd expected. No. So yeah, I guess that's another way you could look at it.
There's a lot of anxiety as well, especially when you're going into a venue like that. You're geared up to like be playing your music. You're not geared up to find out that you're playing in a corner of some really, really dark, dingy.
Exactly. Yeah, and then
you're very worried about.
Yeah, and then I won't be long. I was just going to then talk about, you know how on social media sites it's pretty normal to have like a messaging function. So I've put a way in here that you can reach out to like any venue or anyone on the platform. You can even talk to other artists, but you can have like a proper conversation with them before you put through any booking. So that's like another thing that you don't really get on these other platforms. Now, I basically have all these conversations down the side. That's where I'm talking to users. A lot of times they're telling me things like, hey, it would be great if, we could have this additional feature. So a lot of my conversations are around how people are advising me to build the platform further.
Do you get into groups? Do artists feedback to you regularly about what needs to and what's missing? How do you get that feedback to yourself about as a software developer?
Yeah, I'll show you like a feature that I specifically built for. So basically, in the settings, I have like a feedback form, right? People constantly telling me, what would be good to have in the actual platform. So these are all ideas people have put forwards. And then I have a status for every item, right? So is it an open item? Is it a planned item? Is it in progress? Is it shipped, or have I declined it? I'll show you one that I built that actually was driven by an artist. So we have these guys, Take a Chance on 3. They're an ABBA tribute band.
Okay.
And obviously they're new to the platform, but they're really well established. So they have all these reviews that basically that they have gathered, over the course of their career from other venues. And they said, please, can we put our reviews over to your platform, because we've done all this work in the past, and basically we want that to be obvious to venues on the platform. So if you go to their profile, they've been able to pull through all their reviews from previous gigs, and that was a feature that I basically hadn't created it myself. They had asked for it, and I had reacted to to what they wanted, because I thought it was a good idea. So
it is a good idea, because especially with like the pubs trying to make a decision on whether or not that band's going to be appropriate or not, and often as a business, I run a pub for a little while, and I literally run it in a place where I didn't know people, and it was a lot about word of mouth, and it was like, oh yeah, you've got to book my mate's band, they're really, really good, and things like that. And it was like, I often was left disappointed, because obviously for venues, the other side of it is that they've got to pull in a certain amount to pay you as an artist.
Yeah.
But they've also then got to pay the brewery, they've got to then pay the staff, they've got to pay the on costs and things like that. And, it's something which entertainment is really important to, the venue itself. But actually, if I was filled a bit more in confidence that actually I can look at a reviews page and it isn't just word of mouth, I can see these files. It's like anything, isn't it? If you do your plumbing, you want to get a plumber in who's known and has got those 5 stars, and it's not just 2 people giving you word of mouth, it's 50. So that's a really good idea.
I think increasingly more so, right? Because like part of the research I've done about this platform is that IS rates haven't really changed in the last 20 years, but what's happened is everything else for venues has got more expensive. So if they're going through a tough period, the first thing that's going to get cut is their entertainment budget. So that's why you're seeing less and less gigs around the UK. But if they can come on your profile and they can see, look, you've got a following, and especially if like there's this kind of feature at the top, which at the moment it's not reasonably built out, but it's like you can see like how many fans. You see when I hover over here, it says at the moment 0 fans. Over time, if artists can get their fans to sort of click on this button on the public profile, it will show venues like how many fans basically they have. It sounds dumb, right? But this is something that you don't know when you're booking an artist. But let's say these guys had like 10,000 fans on here. Myself as a venue, I'd know that not only do they look good, not only do they have like good music, like for example, you can play their music, but you'll also have like another layer of confidence in that, they might have 10,000 fans in the local area. So if I'm going to book them for between 500 and 1,200, how many people can I actually expect to show up to the gig?
Yeah, no, I like that. You thought of it all, really, haven't you? It's been really, really clever. I love this program, and I think for the UK, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors, and people become unstuck. And I think also, like, I live down in the southwest.
Yeah.
And I'll go around the holiday camps and I'll go around the local entertainments, and it's the same old people. You can always know who's going to be on the next week just because it's the same old people. But actually, when you speak to the venues and you say, why is it such and such is booked again? They were on last week. They're like, well, we don't know of any others. We don't know anyone. There's no one else that we trust. But if it's something like this that they could just go on to, they could play their music, play their videos and see the gigs that they've done. They can know that they're going to be bringing, because I think a lot of people worry about bringing artists from out of town.
Yeah.
Because are they going to come with them? Are the fans going to come with them? Will they be known in the other town?
Yeah.
But people will travel. People will go with their, if they love that band so much, they will book a gig, especially with holiday spots like this. If you've got someone in London who have been booked in the Southwest, people will say, oh, actually, I could make that as part of my holiday. But if they know when they're coming on,
Yeah, I think that's how we're going to get the kind of grassroots economy a bit more vibrant again. Because I think at the moment you're right. Like even when I was looking for gigs in the local area, you kind of walk into a venue and see their kind of chalkboard of who's on what nights, and it's the same old people rotating. And there's winners and losers in that game, right? Because if you're a resident band within the venue, you've got reliable bookings. Like maybe once a month you play at this venue every month, which is great for you. But as you start to open up the network, you might get booked less and you might have to look for other opportunities. But at least the whole ethos of this thing is to kind of bring up the bar for the most disadvantaged people in the industry. So like maybe the new bands or the new artists or even the new venues that don't really have a network yet. So I want to basically, it's all about like leveling the playfield. Like another thing that reflects that is, when you go on these social media channels these days, everything is driven by who pays to be featured. And I've got like a flat algorithm. So there's nothing you can do to pay me to feature you above any other artist. It's purely driven by who's looking for what on the platform and can they find you.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that thing. So what's the future for you? What's the future for GigXchange? What will be your biggest dream in the next 5 years?
So, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Like if you were to ask me like what's the dream is, I want people to sort of view this as like the default network for if they want a gig or if they want to book a band, that they come to GigXchange, or at least it's in their kind of like thought process when they think about a software like that. And I want to get people a bit more. So I've worked in like high tech industries like my whole life, and pretty much everything is digitized these days. And music is one of those kind of last holdover industries where you don't really have many good software products. And software is great. Like if it actually fills a gap, like it can make your life so much easier. So I kind of want to digitize the industry, not just by myself, but I want to be part of the kind of businesses that help do that. But secondly, I want to basically level the playing field. So I'm thinking about this from my perspective, where every time I start a new band, I felt like I was starting from scratch again, and it's always like a few years between my projects, so my network by that time has degraded. If I can create something where a new band can join here today and they can already have that network and that ability to reach out to different venues around the country and establish a connection, that's kind of what I want to solve for.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like your way of thinking. And I think for the UK industry, you're going to be an absolute huge help. Now, for any of those who are with me on my sister company, Phoenix Rise, I am going to put GigXchange onto Phoenix Rise's website on the collaboration, because I would really encourage my UK artists to sign up to this. This young man has given us a program free of charge, and worked hard to help the UK music industry. And there will be so many people who could benefit from this. So as a business person myself, I'm going to be collaborating with this young man and really advertising that, the GigXchange that he's done, because he's done phenomenally well. And I think this is going to be absolutely brilliant and one to watch. So Naeem, thank you so much for bringing And I'm so sorry about the internet problems that we've had today, but hopefully we have been able to provide you with enough explanation of about what GigXchange is, the benefits you can have from it, and also, you know, hopefully get you from that one pub that you are gigging at possibly to the next 10, 15 pubs for the rest of the year. And as artists, you have a really good time and a fascinating time for the rest of the year out in the community. But thank you so much, buddy. You know,
That's
obviously, I've got your website on the bottom. That's your app website. Is there any other places that people can contact you?
So I mean, my email, I respond to everyone. It's simply founder@gigexchange.app. If you can find your way to the website, you can find my email address. But just like have a look, right? You're not committed to sign up, but even if you sign up, it's free. If you think that anything in the app needs like a bit of work, or there's anything that you want to see in the app, I'm basically in building mode, so I'm open to building any features, and I ship like every week. So just let me know. I'm trying to build something for you guys, something that's going to help you. So yeah, I'd actually appreciate if any of you are thinking anything, did reach out to me.
Well, that's fantastic. And this is what the Scenes Project and Phoenix Rise is all about. We have access to thousands of musicians in the UK. Let's get you musicians involved, okay? I'm going to be putting out a form to all of my UK musicians as well to let them know about this amazing new product. Let's get some ideas together. You have been asking for this, everybody. You have been asking me to go and find those businesses to make your life easier, okay? I am doing it. I am bringing them to you, okay? So if anybody moans at me that we haven't found anything for you, well, we've got a brand new product called GigXchange, which is going to make your life easier. This is AJ at Phoenix Connect. I'm going to sign off because I think my internet wants to tell me it's a Sunday and I should be watching the footy and not working. But it's been a great time. Really enjoyed seeing everybody, and we will see everybody live next week. Cheers, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you.